The next time you peel the foil lid off a little plastic cup of chocolate pudding from the refrigerator, consider this. For most of recorded human history, the word pudding referred strictly to animal blood mixed with fat and oats, stuffed inside a pig's intestine and boiled until it held its shape. It presents a culinary ship of Theseus. If a food slowly swaps out its biological casing, its core ingredient, its natural thickeners, and its cooking method, how does a tube of boiled blood end up keeping the exact same name as a cup of butterscotch? Pudding's history is a 3,000-year timeline of agricultural bottlenecks and the continuous engineering required to overcome them. In the ancient Mediterranean, logic was brutal. When you slaughtered a pig or a goat, you yielded a massive quantity of highly nutritious blood. Without modern refrigeration, that blood would spoil in a matter of hours. The engineering solution was to use the slaughtered animal's own stomach or intestines as a natural, airtight preservation chamber. You mixed the blood with whatever grain you had, packed it into the biological casing, and boiled it. The ancient Spartans relied heavily on this technique. They produced a dense stew known as black broth, made from pork blood, vinegar, and grain. It delivered cheap, zero-waste calories in bulk to an entire military force. This original incarnation of pudding functioned as a utilitarian survival technology, born from the absolute necessity of capturing calories before they spoiled. In 17th century England, the invention of the pudding cloth marked a shift from biological casings to textiles. It was a simple piece of fabric, similar to muslin, used to wrap a mixture before dropping it into a boiling pot. This textile broke the biological bottleneck. If you wanted to make a pudding, you no longer needed to wait for a freshly slaughtered pig. The casing was now reusable and available year-round. Without the requirement of blood and guts, entirely new mixtures could go into the cloth. People started packing them with flour, breadcrumbs, sugar, and dried fruit, giving rise to the sweet, dense dish known as plum pudding. Plum pudding quickly became a powerful symbol of British holiday excess. When Oliver Cromwell's Puritan government outlawed the dessert in 1647, English citizens flooded the streets in what became known as the plum pudding riots. The dish survived the ban, and in 1843, Charles Dickens published A Christmas Carol. He described the Cratchit family carrying a blazing, speckled cannonball of a dessert to the table, which helped rebrand plum pudding into Christmas pudding. The Victorian era then buried the dessert in superstition. A proper pudding required exactly 13 ingredients to represent Jesus and his disciples, and families began hiding silver coins inside the batter for good luck. Solving a biological storage problem with a piece of cloth accidentally transformed a bloody survival ration into a culturally sacred holiday centerpiece. Across the Atlantic, geography forced the next major swap. Early American colonists lacked British staples like wheat and dried fruit, so they substituted indigenous cornmeal. The result was hasty pudding, a dish so foundational to New England life that Harvard students founded a social club named after it in 1795. But as American pioneers began migrating west in covered wagons, they hit a new supply wall. Traditional puddings required fresh eggs to act as a thickening agent, and eggs do not last on a months-long trail ride. The solution arrived via an English chemist named Alfred Bird. In the 1840s, he invented a specialized egg-free custard powder. Americans adopted cornstarch and powder derivatives, allowing families to create smooth desserts from strictly non-perishable pantry items. This chemical substitution completely severed pudding from its animal-based roots, turning it into a product of industrial science. The 20th century saw the final technological swap, eliminating the hours-long boiling process altogether. During World War II, strict rationing of sugar and dairy accelerated the dominance of prepackaged instant mixes as a way to stretch limited supplies into a family dessert. By the 1950s, instant pudding mixes required only cold milk and 5 minutes of stirring, resulting in a cold, mass-produced, chemically thickened bowl of artificial sweetness. Corporate industrialization replaced the final original component, the application of heat and time, completing the ship of Theseus transformation. Today, the word pudding defines two completely different foods depending on where you stand. In America, it means a sweet, creamy dessert. In Britain, it remains a broad category that includes savory dishes and meat-filled pies. Despite its evolution into a dessert, the original blood encasing food survives globally today as black pudding, boudin noir, and morcilla. The modern chocolate cup didn't erase the ancient survival food. It merely splintered off from it into an entirely separate evolutionary branch. The origins of the famous idiom, "the proof of the pudding is in the eating," lie in the literal dangers of early cooking. Boiling offal inside a natural casing was incredibly risky. Cutting the pudding open and tasting it was the only way to confirm the casing hadn't burst or the meat hadn't spoiled during the hours of cooking. Contrast that ancient culinary gamble with the completely sanitized, risk-free guarantee of opening up a modern plastic pudding cup. Ultimately, food acts as a living archive. Hidden inside a mundane lunchbox treat are 3,000 years of survival tactics, chemical innovations, and cultural riots, all carried forward in a shared 5-letter name.